Hi, it's Matthew and Aniken here today, and today we're going to be going to the Center for Heritage Arts and Textiles, which is in Tsuen Wan in Hong Kong, and it opens from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. but closes on Tuesday. And what this is part of a Nam Phuong, used to be a cotton mill, and what they've done is they've converted this into a modern day exhibition, and there's food and F&B and a lot of interesting events happening here. Related to textiles and also for food and innovations as well. So it's called The Mills, and so when you go in front there, it's free of charge. I didn't pay anything, I heard about it before through these student groups and a friend that helped organize it, but I'd never been, so I happened to be in the area, so why not check it out? So we just parked in the building next door. I forgot to ask if there's parking at this building, but you can always just Google that and check. But there's nice open space activities. What they have right now is some weaving activity going on as an event, which it says here the hexagonal patterns and how you weave, and I guess they give you some fabrics, and you can also weave your own thing as you go along. So, and on the second floor, we also have a tour and exhibition, and it goes through the history of weave and cotton, and so it's an executive director's greeting. If you'd like to pause, you can pause it and read it. So I've doubled up the speed of this, so it doesn't make it so boring. This is a part of an exhibition right now by this artist. And in this room here, it comes to the history of the spinning of cotton, the king of cotton, Dr. Tsuen Wan, and Nam Phuong Textiles. So the history of here as well. There's videos and also the machinery that go through each of the different processes, the blowing, also the carding of the cotton, and they also have the big machinery to show you how it works. Okay, and also the years and dates, and also how the factory was set up in the times. And this is the raw. So it's interesting because it goes through, has all different stages and the machineries and the videos, so you can sort of go through and understand the processes and how everything is actually done and made. And you can sort of get a feel of the machinery that goes with it as well. Obviously for safety, there's no touching, so there's all these signs with hands sticking out, says don't touch, which is interesting. And you have all these different testing machineries for yarn twist testing, and also for protecting your ears, and cotton yarn spools, and also the workers' rights and the daily routines, a video of the founder, and it also goes through so interesting. So the clothing from all the ones being made in Hong Kong, and let's read another area. And this is interesting, how they're using nets and weaving, because a recent Netflix video on seafood and how actually plastic nets is actually very, very bad for the environment. But then what's the potential of using cotton nets or biodegradable materials for netting now? Will that help in terms of being biodegradable so they don't leave all these plastic nets in the sea? So I didn't realize that. So the netting industry is actually producing more plastics in the straws. So then the artist here as well has the music, and then put on suitcases, and it's all, I believe, using cotton to make it for different cities, I guess. So that's interesting. Some nice photographs. And then we also have installation here, so videos in a nice dark environment, very spooky, but that's the artistic talents. So if you have time, you can come and have a look as well, and go through each. Watch, you had more time and videos. If you see Aniken there, he's running around, so I'm sort of chasing after him as well. So that's okay, the sewing machines for garments. Then we have this room in here, has the videos. I think the topic's about being in Beijing during the certain lockdowns in the cities, and had to put their masks on to register temperatures and the health officials. So we didn't stay there for very long, so You come back out, there's some more artistic works. I think I just read up, it's using old clothing and to repurpose clothing for the shoot. There's a machine gun there as well. And then there's a little room up in a section over here where I have some books, not very exciting, some books in there about educating for fabrics, but could do a few more books. And then there's also a lot of F&B in this building as well, the mill. So there's food, Harrison Wong, local Hong Kong designer, and there's the food sections, there's lots of different type of foods, and there's a little display here about cotton, hemp and cotton, so the cotton little bud, the cotton plant itself, as an example there. And then they also have linen, this is a linen plant. So I've never seen a linen plant before, so that was interesting. But how you actually make the linen out, I'm not too sure. So, and then there's teas and fancy drinks. There's a tap ale for beer, and it's nicely air conditioned and nicely curated building. So surprisingly quite a few people during a weekday. This is a Thursday afternoon. They also have here is a lost escape room, which is cool. So that'd be fun. So might have a chance to go there next time. And then they also have a kids area for bringing children, like a playroom, fancy playroom, very colourful, big dolls. And here's some food sections as well. So I kept getting lost and looked outside, and being an avid gardener myself, I saw a garden outside. So for the Rooftop Garden here, I've grown some tomatoes and a little bit of everything, a bit of the curly kale. I recognise the curly kale now, since we had my juicing episode. So it's so the outdoor areas, be good for events. Then go back here, and this is the escape room with different themes. So I need to go and have a play around. I didn't go to this one, I didn't ask. But the certain ones went to China, and they're actually all in Chinese, so it's very hard to escape the room when you can't understand the language. So make sure you pick one that has it in English if you're an English speaker. Okay. And there's another section which is partitioned off to the main building, which has a small, bit of a food court. There's some wine, there's a wine bar here. It just says tastings just started again. And there's a furniture, a nice furniture shop, some more. So I had a run through here to have a look around to see if there's anything interesting. Some wooden, it's mostly interior furniture. So some of these sections of this video is a bit boring, I'm sorry, but editing time, I try and minimize editing time, just keep it raw. So there's a coffee and drinks area, so I think I read up afterwards that this is really had a lot of returns of, I hear is that dog ice cream. Dog ice cream is funny, I think it's just less sweet apparently. This is something I just found very interesting as well. This is a snap tee, so you design your t-shirts on the app and you sort of send it there as well. So this is a separate video because this might be the future of a lot of retailing as well. So you have the actual product there on display, and then you also have like an explanation video on the background. Then you have iPads where people just go up and purchase the product if they sort of like it. Obviously you can't test it in terms of sizing for clothing. However, for these t-shirts it's not much of a problem. You can add your designs quite quickly. If you keep watching later on, there's actually a 3D scanner as well, which I've also tested as well, which is quite fun to do my body shape. So yeah, and then this is Greenlands, Green Ladies, Greenville. So this is a shop where you can donate clothing and bags and accessories. And apparently it's like a consignment, so they keep 30%. You keep 30% if they sell it, and they take 70%, which they donate to their place they want to go to and join a membership. So And then as you walk along, I saw this lady put these plastic cups or plastic bottles into this machine and actually crushes there and then on the site. So it's interesting. So I've seen ones where you place it, but in Hong Kong, this is one they don't actually crush it there and then. And it's interesting to see a lady put it into action. And maybe went up closer, and then she didn't want to be filmed, but that's okay. And then I believe it's 10 cents Hong Kong per bottle. So it's actually don't earn very much, but I guess it's the idea, because plastics is normally the troubled item in terms of recycling paper people want. And metals is easier, but definitely I think for plastics, single-use plastics, that's the trouble. This textile section is another section on a different floor, different area. It's for technology and fashion. And this 3D scanning system was interesting, so I had to play around as well. You press the button and you customize. Initially I thought the screen was sort of it, but actually no, actually the main booth behind it is where the real action is. And you go into this booth and you take all your clothes off and you put your stand on this thing, and you hold on the left hand side, you hold up this little this nozzle, and then it scans your body and does a 360 scan. And what it does is it gives you the sizes of your measurements, and which you can place it into these apps and to measure your size before you order. So all this Unspun, this website which they tried it on, didn't let you place your sizing during after you checked out and paid, which doesn't really make sense. I would assume they'll put my sizing before I paid out, so I know that you've got my right sizing, right? So, but that's something technically which I think the salesperson wasn't so clear on. And then this is garment-to-garment recycling system, which is quite interesting, and it takes for used garments, obviously red dot reward, and it takes used garments and it breaks it down back into its, clean the clothes, you open up the fabrics, and then you turn it back into like this carding and drawing of the cotton, and you weave it back into spools, and then you knit it back into clothes. So from clothing to clothing, and has the display of the machinery that's used to do that. I didn't go inside to go through the process, so maybe one day when I have more time I can go through and have them explain to me how they break down the existing clothes and take off the labels and everything. But yeah, this is on the ground floor, so it's a prime location area, so it's something they're trying to push. This is a snapshot video of the scanning device which I just talked about, and as she goes through, and it actually also suggests different brands after your scan, and it says which, in terms of Zara here, my scanning size was for large, extra large, and that was interesting. So I didn't realize it actually linked to the brand's sites directly as well. And it has those certain brands, H&M, so obviously had blazers and suits, I'd be a large, trousers, I'd be a medium. And this just goes through the process. You've got to take your clothes off, you've got to scan, it has a process. You actually don't have to move around, so that's convenient. And make sure you put your clothes back on before you leave. And then the last thing you end up here is they had a watch. You can sort of build your own watch as well, as like a watch manufacturer, repairing center. So it's not just garments and clothes, I guess it's accessories as well. So that was that's a very quick walkthrough. At the end of it, outside, there's also this pet grooming center. So that's interesting. So, okay, hope you enjoyed this quick trip, and for my Health and Wealth channel, and if you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe. Okay, until next time, bye.